Hey, it's Ronald the Rules Lawyer, and today I'm just gonna talk about old school Dungeons and Dragons. Specifically, I'm gonna read something that younger Ronald wrote in 2011, way back in the past, before this channel, and before I even had my after school middle school RPG class. I mostly cover Pathfinder 2E, a very modern tabletop role-playing game. And I was first exposed to these games when I was about 9 years old and had the basic D&D red box. But I never got to play old school D&D. My first tabletop role-playing game that I actually played was Pathfinder 1st Edition. I started running it for my friends, and I started this blog to just ruminate about role-playing games. It's called The Rot Grub, and you can still find it online. But I wrote this post called Old School Review 1, Dying and Dumbfounded in Old School D&D. And I'm just gonna read it out and share some thoughts. I'll let it speak for itself. It says, I find it too hard to die in Pathfinder. Now, this was about Pathfinder 1st Edition. In the Pathfinder role-playing game, even if you're hit by a monster and go into negative hit points, unless there's a total party kill, then someone in your party is probably going to heal you. Basically, death only comes if you receive a critical hit and you're already low in HP, or you face some particularly strong monster. But come on! In real life, getting sliced by a kobold is no joke. You might slice an artery. So I yearn for older versions of D&D where death was a little easier to come by. Perhaps you've already guessed that I'm a GM. Since my first actual tabletop gaming experience was with Pathfinder RPG with my friends in 2010, my only exposure to old school styled gaming is reading veteran stories here in the blogosphere. Stories about death being a constant thought, poking through dungeons with 10-foot poles, trembling before the Tomb of Horrors. Hearing these tales, there's something magical sounding that appeals to me, that promises a grittier and more satisfying experience of fearing constantly for my character's welfare, holding my breath when a die is rolled. So last night, I tried to run a little Holmes D&D, and imagine taking a party into the sample dungeon in the back of the manual. In 1977, J. Eric Holmes edited the original Gygax and Arneson rules from 1974 and created the first D&D box set. It is closer to the original D&D than to any other edition, even the other D&D box sets that came after it. All weapons do 1 to 6 damage, your ability scores have only minor +1, -1 effects in play, etc. So I decided to roll my first character, of course rolling a 3d6 straight down the line. My strength was 8, intelligence 9, wisdom 12, constitution 11, dexterity 16, woohoo, charisma 10. Alright, so my high score is dexterity, so I decide to make him a thief. I roll a 1d4. I get 1 hit point. Yep, that's right. My first character has 1 hit point. So that means that falling down a 10-foot pit guarantees instant death. I'm already getting a feeling that I'm going to be re-rolling this character soon. I also roll up a fighter and a magic user. The fighter has 4 hit points, and the magic user has 3 hit points. This is a tough magic user, you see. Or rather we, head off to our doom, that dungeon. The first encounter doesn't look too bad. 3 goblins in a room with treasure chests. There apparently is an opportunity to have a non-combat interaction, but I'm already looking silly here pretending to be 3 people. Besides, I'm not playing Holmes D&D to talk to myself. There are many other opportunities for that. I want to test out the combat rules. Oh, here's Megan. She just jumped in my lap. Hello, Megan. You're on screen. So I rolled dexterity for the goblins. Yes, you rolled dexterity and not initiative back then. And battle order went by who had the highest dexterity score first. My thief has the highest dexterity and so gets a chance to swing at the goblins. I've equipped him with a dagger, which he gets to use twice per round, and he misses both times. The magic user casts Magic Missile and misses. Yes, boys and girls, Magic Missile did not hit automatically back then. The goblins have their turn. The first one swings at the thief and hits. And, oh wait, that's right. I don't need to roll for damage because the thief's already dead. With my thief having 1 hit point, there's no way I can roll this d6 less than 1. I chuck aside the hexahedron in disgust. During the ensuing melee, the fighter gets hit. I rolled a d6 and rolled a 1. Phew. He now has 3 hit points. The fighter gets hit again, and I roll a 2 for damage. He still has 1 hit point. Amazingly, the magic user and fighter survive the melee and ship the 3 goblins to their evil maker. The adventurers then search the room for loot and find 140 gold pieces worth of treasure, which, because treasure equals experience in old school D&D, translates into 140 experience points. Each goblin was worth 5 XP. And so each character earns from that near TPK 77 experience points, before their 10% ability score bonuses. How on earth did people actually gain levels back in those days? Did people actually follow the rules as written? Sure, perhaps the treasure haul here was a bit modest, but then again, they almost died from 3 goblins. Don't even get me started about the room that came up soon after when a 31 hit point giant spider jumps on my cleric, yes, that was the rerolled thief, from the ceiling and bites her 1 hit point away. And if this were a real game of D&D, the players would probably then swing away at the spider, not knowing at all how uber tough it is. And of course, if they were to get bitten and miss their saving throw versus poison, the penalty is to die. How is this even remotely fair? Or actually, my question is, how did players have fun? Sure, new players would learn the dangers of exploring dungeons and lessen these dangers through intelligent play, but I simply can't see how people could reach level 2. Let alone level 7, 8, or 9, playing these rules as they were written. Perhaps I should say more of my thoughts about this style of play versus the modern expectations in RPGs, but I've already gone on long enough. And besides, I should ask my readers, how did people actually play the game? Because this isn't it. My preferred system is Pathfinder 2e, but I want to do more old school play. I remember the thrill of running it for some middle schoolers, and when a goblin hits a PC, just the sheer excitement of rolling that goblin's damage roll against the player was something unmatched in modern games, because that could lead to your death. But I've always found it a mystery as to how it actually was played. I feel like everybody homebrewed didn't run the rules as written, because how else could you get to these higher levels? So I put this video out there just so I can hear people's stories about how they actually played the game, and also people's thoughts about old school versus modern sensibilities. I'm sure one of the things that will be said is that you weren't supposed to fight monsters when you're that low level, because you gained experience from treasure. You definitely wanted to avoid fights, and you advance through clever play. However, I still don't know how you would get. If you're a fighter, you need 2,000 experience points to get to level 2, and if you're a magic user, you need 2,500. I think you'd have to avoid 80% of the fights and get their treasure in order to have a fair chance of getting that high. And also count on some of your other adventurers dying so that you get a bigger share of the XP. And then once you had a level 2 character, you treated that as a precious thing. I also am guessing that a lot of tables just started at a higher level than level 1, and that many dungeon masters just put out huge amounts of treasure to advance people very quickly. But when you look at those classic adventure modules, they weren't that generous with treasure. Or maybe they just venture out with their magic user who had a sleep spell and put a lot of enemies to sleep and insta-kill them, and then go back home and have a very short adventuring day. Related question, I want to hear stories and find out whether people actually ran the undead monsters the way they're written in old school D&D, where undead, some of them would drain levels from you when they hit you. No saving throw allowed. You could have spent years advancing your character to level 9, and a vampire's touch will make you lose 2 of those levels in an instant. Undead were no joke. So, my casual era continues. I basically just want to chat with the community and see what y'all have to say. If you like this video, like. If you like my channel, if you like me, subscribe. And if you have other ideas for topics, leave them in the comments below. You might also want to check out my blog. There's some other articles there, including some of my experiences running my after-school middle school class. So, that's my low-effort video of the day. I am Ronald the Rules Lawyer. Support my Patreon if you haven't already. It allows me to continue my channel. I don't make money as an attorney. You get ad-free early access to most of my videos and exclusive content. Also join my Discord. There are thousands of us. I hang out there a lot, where we talk Pathfinder 2e and other gaming. And we also have a drop-in, drop-out organized play system for Pathfinder 2e if you'd like to play. called Endless Tale Tavern. So that's it. I have been Ronald the Rules Lawyer, and I'll see you next time.